What's up, guys? This is going to be my impressions video for Batman Arkham Asylum that just came out for the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Now, let me just say I've put about 5 hours into the game and not nearly enough of time I wanted to put in the game, but this impressions is going to sound a little negative and there may contain some spoilers, but please note that everything about this game, going down to the gameplay, the graphics, the voice acting, everything is amazing, but a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about is kind of nitpicking on the amount of difficulty in performing a lot of the moves is for some people. And I play a lot of games, so it's not like, you know, I'm a noob at things or anything like that, but for the casual player who likes Batman, it may be a little difficult. And let me just get into this. First of all, like I said, the graphics are amazing. They look excellent. Very, very good. Voice acting is excellent as well. You have the, I'm not sure what his name is, the dude who plays Batman, but he's the guy from the animated series in the 90s who did Batman's voice. And, you know, I think a lot of people who were in their 20s or 30s even remember that, and that's my favorite Batman that I remember. Also, the Justice League, I also like that. But anyway, he does the voice. He does an excellent job. Mark Hamill's the Joker, also excellent. All the voices are great. The gameplay is kind of where I'm going to get into basically most of my impressions in this game. Basically, when you start the game, it drops you in basically in a big city, which is what, you know, the idea that Arkham City is. But it's basically, you're like open sandbox. Think Infamous, kind of a big city, just do everything in, and you have objectives to do, and you go and complete them. Of course, there is a main storyline that you can follow, but a lot of the stuff, a lot of the missions are like non-linear. You can go do random missions like like performing your flying techniques, kind of like flying through rings. Don't think Superman 64, but you are kind of like flying through rings, except the controls are very well done. Those kind of side missions, you can go save police officers and stuff of that nature. But what I want to get into, it basically, it's going to sound negative, but please don't think of it as negative the way I say this. But okay, a lot of the moves you perform to like fight people, it's like you hit, you know, XXX, YX, and when you first drop into this game, I haven't played Batman on the original Batman Arkham Asylum. I haven't played it in like 6 months or whatever, so I kind of didn't, you know, I was kind of lost when I first started. You know, of course you can button mash, press XXX, but when you want to perform correct moves, instead of just button mashing, you have to press Y and B. B is to like stun the enemies, and there's different combinations. And for people who aren't, you know, super intelligent on Batman games, it's kind of confusing, because I kind of think of it like the old school Mortal Kombat fatalities, where you have to like press a 20 button combination to perform a fatality or something. It's not exactly like that, but there's different button combinations for everything, and trying to remember it, especially if you take a break from the game like I did. I took like a 4-day break from the game just because I had so much schoolwork to do, and I went back and played it, and I had no idea. I couldn't remember how to do the moves. Now there is a pause menu that you can go and look how to do the moves, but I find myself going back to that menu so often because the amount of different button combinations for different moves is so, there's so much of it. Like, you have like different weapons assigned to your D-pad, and then you have buttons assigned to a diagonal direction on your D-pad. So there's like 7 different items, and when you want to do a different thing for that particular item, there's like different button combinations. So say you want to use your bat claw, you press up on the D-pad and you press Y to use your bat claw. You can, when you're fighting, you can press, like, I think it's up and Y with the D-pad. I mean with the up and Y with the the buttons, and you can grab the weapon out of their hand. So just think of that, and then say you want to use your Batarang. You press down on the D-pad to select your Batarang, and you press Y to aim, you press right trigger to throw it. Okay, that's another combination. And you can also double click the left trigger to quickly throw your Batarangs. Okay, so that's more. And now let's get to the combat. Say you want to, just regular punch. It's XXX, just the punch or whatever. If you knock someone on the ground, you can hit right trigger and Y to do a knockout punch. So that's more. And as you do all these, as you get more experience, you can unlock more moves. So that's even more combinations of buttons. I'm not trying to sound negative, but there's a lot of different moves in this game, and just trying to remember it all, especially if you're not playing the game, from start to finish in one sitting. If you're like take a couple days break, it's really, really hard on me trying to remember how to do all the moves, without button mashing. Now, if you're gonna button mash, it's pretty simple. Just hit buttons and you'll eventually kill the enemies. But if you're trying to do a strategy like jumping over enemies, stunning them, doing combos at the right time, doing your special moves, all in great sequences, it's a lot to take in. So that is my main impressions for Batman. Please don't get me wrong, the game is amazing. Everything about the game is great. It's just the fact that you have to remember so much in your combat, as well as flying. It took me a minute to figure out how to fly correctly, because now basically you can fly around the city without landing if you know how to do it properly, kind of like Spider-Man swinging around the city. You can actually fly around the city, but you have to, like in the old Batman, you can just basically fly and glide. Now this one, you can dive down and pick up speed again, kind of like Mario's cape in Super Mario World. Dive down, you can use your cape to fly back up, kind of like that. And it's kind of tricky at first to kind of figure everything out, so you have to remember that as well. So, and you can also implement that flying mechanic into your fighting, so you can dive into a battle and like shockwave the ground when you land. So there's a lot to take in with the amount of combat combinations that you can do, and I think it's a little over complicated in my opinion than what it should be, because there's just a lot to do. Half the stuff that you unlock, you're not going to be really, I'd say a lot of the unlockables aren't necessary is what I mean to say. And that's pretty much it. Please, like I said, please don't take this as a negative review or impressions. The game is amazing so far of what I put into it, like 5 hours, but it's just some stuff is just overcomplicated with the combat. And that's about it, guys, and we will play some more. Thanks for watching. Believe me, this game is great so far. Go pick it up if you haven't already. Definitely Game of the Year contender.